the street a couple steps away from my best friend. So every sunny day we used to play basketball, baseball, football, soccer, name it.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the 5th episode of the Julio and Ice podcast. I'm your handsome and most intelligent host, Julio Vasquez. I'm live and I'm in my living room. I'm feeling handsome and I'm feeling like I'm somebody. Matty Ice, talk to me nice.
What's up, Who? Episode 5. We got a great interview coming up with a guy we played college hoops with, and more importantly, a really good friend, Zach O'Brien. So I hope you check that out. And it's a very interesting interview. Even though we know his story, we didn't know, some of the new stuff that's going on in his life. So it's pretty cool.
He talks development. He talking, player development with Taurasi, Skylar, Diggins. So it was very interesting to say the least. Before we get into that, though, what's today, Matty? It's the 27th of February. The month's almost over.
This is like typical February, almost March weather. Just
it's rainy.
Cold,
it's a Saturday.
Rainy. Yeah.
My high school guys over at St. Paul Catholic, shout out to them. That's 4 straight for us. We recently just beat Naugatuck High School, which is the number 5 team in the state. And right now we're rolling. We're rolling. We got our young guys playing. Like I said before, I got my young man Will Barton. He's going to be going to WPI next year. Shout out to Coach Phelps. Shout out to Coach Jamie Leggett. Shout out to my man Ham Bone. Shout out to Coach Ladovico. Shout out Tommy Lorenzetti. Shout out Jamie Leggett. All the young guys who are over there contributing to St. Paul Catholic. With the circumstances that we're going through right now, we're looking for small victories, man. And these kids are working hard every day. They're kind of really overcoming what's happening, and they're coming in every day and they're working hard, Matty. That's all we can ask for when it comes to developing youth. And, that's pretty much what our emphasis here on this podcast is, to make sure the youth is kind of being inspired. And, they're playing inspiring basketball right now, man. It's a pleasure. It's a joy to watch. And especially for me, Matty, the 4 seniors I have starting in the varsity games now, I had them as freshmen on my freshman team 4 years ago. So I feel like, my work with those guys is paying off, and kudos to them. Alex Partika, Jackson Sullivan, Tommy Lorenzetti, and Will Barton. I had them since they were freshmen. So it's joy, man. It's beautiful.
I wanted to actually talk about quickly, talking about your season stuff. I thought you had some really good tweets this week. I want to know where, that thought came from. I'll read one of them.
Tell me.
I was told not to call a young athlete lazy. You got to motivate them. Maybe they got something going on, etc. Granted, but if you don't want to work hard and always have an excuse, I don't have another word for it. You're lazy, homie. Work harder, get better. Simple. I love that. It was a great tweet.
Yeah. So we're getting saucy early, huh? We're going right to the butter. Yeah, man. I mean, it's simple. I think, there's a lot of hand holding that goes on with high school athletes, man. Like, I understand that they're coming from middle school, and, the parents are kind of having a hard time kind of just, letting go and passing them along to people like us. And it's, I guess it's a shout out to them. I guess it's also, it's something for me to always keep with myself of how I want to be when I have children, man. I don't want my kids to be lazy. Like I don't want to make excuses for them, if they're going to be playing this game, because at the end of the day, man, if you're not first, you're last, and I don't know if you read my other tweet. I thought you were going to kind of bring that one up.
I have it. You ready?
I want to hear that one.
It was another good one. And I think why I liked it is because I used it actually talking to a group of kids that I've been coaching. Again, we don't have middle school sports right now are all intramural. So it's like, inter squad practices kind of thing, but competitive basketball is not an equal opportunity thing. And it's funny because I don't know if I'm pretty sure me and you talked about it, but I used that line. Everyone doesn't always get the job they want. If you got it, you ain't got it. No, sorry, it's a Drake quote. If you ain't got it, you ain't got it. The theory is brilliant. It's
so brilliant.
It's so true, and I think that's why I love basketball, in the sense of, there's 5 guys that play, or people. There's 5 people that are on the court, and it's not an equal opportunity. Not everybody gets the same amount of shots, or not everybody gets the same opportunity. And when you have an opportunity, you got to make the best of it. And I think that was another really good tweet. So I didn't know I know you're coaching, so I didn't know where those
I mean,
thoughts were coming from.
it's a combination of both, Maddie, and I appreciate you for reaching those out and put me on blast here. I love it because it is what it is. I think, I think when it comes to high school sports, I feel like the perception is, everybody has to play, or everybody, should be getting equal minutes, or everybody should be getting the same amount of shots. Like Kobe Bryant said it best, man. Basketball is the best metaphor for life, right? So, whenever we go for job interviews, Maddie, they want the best guy. They want the best guy. If that was the case, then, Apple, or whoever made Apple, would have hired everybody that apply for the job. You know what I'm saying? Like, we go to interviews to be the best. And I use this term too with my kids all the time. Whenever we used to get tests, right, with kids, when we were kids, whenever we used to take tests and you were sitting next to Joshy D or whoever you were sitting next to, one of your buddies in high school, whenever you got your test back after you took it, what was the first thing you did?
You see what they got.
What did you get, bro? What did you get? Because essentially
you're trying to be better.
You're trying to be better, and I think that that goes over people's heads, because if you're the parent whose kid is not playing, it's like, it's not fair. They should be playing. It's not fair. So
and I think it was a great tweet, and I had to use that with the kids that I was coaching. And now it's a different setting than high school basketball. We are, like I said, intramural kind of, so we have kids at different levels. And to me, I could have said nothing. But it's just in my DNA. I had to say it because it was bothering me, because the kids seemed like it was an equal opportunity thing. And it's not. Basketball is not an equal opportunity thing. If you do something really well, stick to doing that. And I think I had to tell a kid that. Like, I was like, what are you great at? He goes, rebounding. I said, so rebound the ball, and who should you give the ball to? And one of the better player on his team that can handle the ball. I'm like, give it to him and then run up the court. You
did your job.
You did your job. You don't need to dribble up. It doesn't matter that he dribbles it up. You shouldn't do it because you're not good at it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And if you want to get better at it, there's a different time and place to do that.
Right.
To get better at your ball handling. Right. And whatever. But just because you think someone else can do it and that you should be able to try it, it's like time and place. You're hurting your team doing that. So I thought it was a really good tweet, because I think we live in a world right now where it seems like it has to be equal opportunity, but that's not sports.
Everyone wins. The parents want everyone to win. Everyone gets a trophy. Listen, I listen. If I ever got a third place fucking trophy, Maddie, and kept it in my shit, like I'm not fucking doing that. I'm not keeping a third place. You lost. There's winners and you losers. And you know what, Maddie? At the end of the day, life is about winning. Life is about winning. Nobody wants to lose. And everybody wants the nicest car. Sorry.
Yeah. No, I was going to say, you're right. And life's also about learning how to deal with loss.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
You have to, if you never lost in your life, you don't know how to cope with it. You don't know how to get better from it, learn from it. So I think it creates a valuable lesson. And, even I think it's sometimes, as a coach, when you're coaching, like if my team plays poorly, I'd rather have them lose than win, say it's a tight game. And somehow we pull out the win, but we don't play well. It's hard to, I think, to tell kids like, the next day to learn from stuff we're doing, because they'd be like, oh, coach, but we still won. Well, that's why sometimes as a coach, I like, if we're playing poorly, I'd rather lose the game, because then the loss sticks in your mind for the kids. But I also can drill in the sense of, we can learn from a lot of the stuff we're doing. So I think sometimes it's good for people to experience losing. Like, obviously I don't want to, but now I see it from a different perspective as a coach per se than I did as a player. As a player, it's, to me and you, winning was everything. Like, there's no, everything. Yeah.
Life is about winning, man. Maddie, it's about winning. If you hated your job, if you were somewhere where, you weren't the best, Maddie, you wouldn't be where you are. And that's why you are the best. You are the best at pipe, baby.
Well, I just think, as a coach, you just see stuff or a mentor, you see it in a different perspective, in that it's like you just said, basketball is like, I think specifically basketball, because me and you have experiences, you can create so many great life lessons from basketball. It's so much bigger than that. There's so many things, little details that you can help a kid, learn going forward and hold them accountable for. So that's why I really enjoy it, obviously coaching, but why I really enjoy being around basketball, because it's there every day.
And I think that right there just sums up the whole interview with Zach, man. I think he went through, he went through the ups and downs. He's still going through the ups and downs, but he's not folding. You know what I mean? And the listeners and the viewers online you'll attest to this, and you can see what he's talking about. My man Z, man, he's been through a lot, man, and I
Yeah,
hope this interview touches those
yeah,
people.
and I think the moral of the interview, to be honest, is don't be satisfied, or don't settle for something you really don't want to do in life, because a lot of people
Yeah.
settle, and you only live once. And I think what Z is inspiring is that he's continued to push to do what he's passionate about and do what he wants to do in life. So um, let's get right to the interview. Here's the interview
Let's
with
get
Zach
right to it,
O'Brien.
baby. Let's do it. So joining us live now is our former teammate and one of my good friends, one of my good mentors from St. Joseph's College of Maine. We have Zach O'Brien, who's currently, he's currently a lot of things down in Arizona. But he's doing player development with the Phoenix Mercury. Z, talk to me, baby. How you feeling?
What's going on, guys? How you doing?
Hey, man, we're doing good, man. It's good to see you. We were
Hell
talking
yeah.
before we got on the air, man. I haven't talked to you in a long, long time. For those who don't know, Zach O'Brien is, he's a legend over there at St. Joseph's College of Maine. He hails from Schenectady. Did I say that right? Schenectady, right? I used to say Albany, like not
I
even.
went to school in Schenectady. St. Joe's got this wrong. I went to school in Schenectady. I'm from Albany.
Okay, Bishop Gibbons.
Bishop Gibbons in Schenectady.
You went to Bishop Gibbons. You played with my man, who I met through you, Brian Hamer, who played at Stonehill. People know basket. He's a basket man. Man was a
player I ever
bucket.
played with.
One of my guys too. Great dude. And then you went down to St. Joe's. Had a great career at St. Joe's. Scored over 1,500 points. I think you were 2-time first team All GNAC. I thought one of the years you should have won Player of the Year. That's me being biased. We were kind of roommates kind of from the beginning. You kind of took me under your wing. Zach was 1 year older than me. So when I came in as a freshman, he was a sophomore, and then Maddie came in after that. So Maddie had the chance to play with him for 2 years, right, Maddie? Is it two? Yeah, two.
Yeah,
and
2
I
years.
had a chance to play with him for 3 years. And, just to give you guys a little just insight about Zach, man, cool, calm, collective, laid back guy. And to be honest, Z, we can say this, we're live on the air, and I've told you all the time, you didn't look like a basketball player, bro, when I first met you, man. You really did.
You should have seen me when I had glasses. I used to play with glasses, man. It was the ultimate deception.
The funniest shit about that is that I thought the same thing the first day of pickup. I was like, who is this dude that's literally killing everybody? He does not look like
And we could talk about that too, because when I first met him, I first got there. Obviously, freshmen get on campus first, so Z wasn't there yet. So I played pickup 4-on-4 because not enough guys were there yet. So I think LB was there, Tyler Kelly was there, a couple of guys. I think Tommy was there, Tommy Ray. Shout out to those guys, more Monk, alum. So I played pickup, and I think Z came later on in the afternoon. So me being a freshman, I kind of came in thinking, okay, I got to get my body right. So right after pickup, I went into the weight room and I started lifting. And, me being 115 pounds as a freshman, I was like, I'm going to start off on 25s. I'm going to start light. I'm going to start real light. I'm going to start light. And then Z walks in. Mind you, this is 2009. So Z's going into a sophomore year. He had a great freshman year. So he comes in, his body looks a little bit built. And this is when baggy shorts, double XLs, and tall tees were in. And Z walks in. He's got the gray dry fit kind of baggy, baby blue shorts, and he's got some fresh kicks all Nike'd out. So I'm like, okay, this guy, he may be an athlete of some sort. So we don't speak at all. It's just me in there, and then he walks in. And then, I get on I'm start doing dumbbell presses, 25s. I'm ripping up 25 in a row with 25s. And
Which
Z
you were still doing your senior year.
It's a buildup. It's more reps than sets. And Z just picks up the 45s, right? And he's just like, just starts pumping. I'm like, all right, I gotta ask this guy, what the hell is he doing in St. Joseph's College of Maine? Actually, I find out that this guy, he's the starting wing at St. Joseph's College of Maine. You know what I mean? Fucking hair slicked back as it is now, smooth as ever. And then, he sees me struggling with my 25s, and he just, I finish my set, I put my weights on my lap, and he just kind of gives me the fist bump like, bro, Good shit, bro. Good shit. Good. I see you working, bro. Good shit.
Wow.
Z, after that too, I think the next day we started playing pickup, and obviously I'm a big run on census, but I just have a great memory. We're playing pickup, you come in transition, you catch it on the right wing, in and out, one bounce at the elbow, rise to the occasion, nice pull up over Ray Eatman. I was like, man, this motherfucker is nice. He is fucking nice. But I didn't think you were the best. I thought Ray Eatman coming in, he's 6'5" point guard was.
And he was the best. I mean,
Yeah,
he's the
great.
best big I've ever played. He was Draymond before anyone even knew Draymond.
Just a great passer, knew how to play.
Beautiful.
Great teammate. But then Z, I'm telling you, I think the very next possession, you caught it on the right wing, caught it up. Kevin Durant faced up, lift fake, jab step. Guy went back, shot a jumper over him. I looked around, I said, okay, he's the best player we got right now. He's the best player I got, and I got to make sure I spend enough time with him so I can get better, man. Z, hell of a ride, man. Tell me about your St. Joe's experience, man. Tell me about it from the beginning. England, we had so many great memories, man. Talk a little bit about it.
Where do you even start? The pickup at St. Joe's was always my favorite thing. Like, that was when I visited. I drove 5 hours from Albany. My mom, it was like an AAU trip. She parked outside the gym. I got out. I had my sneakers. The first thing I did at St. Joe's was play pickup with the guys. Right, that was my initiation. And high school senior, and that was kind of how it started. And right away it was like, okay, these are, I had known Scott Melby, but it was like, I was on a team with Shawnee, and I was connecting with Alberta, with Kook and all these guys. And it was like, man, this is just it was like, these are just good dudes right off the bat. Like, they don't bring in bad people. That was very obvious. And then and it was incredibly competitive, right? The pickup was incredibly competitive. It was really high level, and the team my freshman year, that was, we had Chris Davis, D1 transfer, coming off the bench. Like, we were stacked. We were really, really good. We were big and we were talented. So that was my initiation, essentially playing with that team and getting to know those guys. And then, you know how it goes. You walk right up to Coach Santicola's office, and you sit with him and your family for 3 hours. And he loves to tell this story, but it's one of my favorite things too, and kind of why I chose St. Joe's, right? And you guys had gone through the recruiting process. All the coaches tell you what, come in, you're going to start, you're going to be our best player, whatever. And Santicola looked at me, he goes, I'm not promising you a goddamn thing. You can come in and work for everything. Not 1 minute is going to be promised. And so I was like, oh shit, okay, this guy's for real. And so when you combine, it's funny, and this has kind of been my I guess philosophy or my mindset going forward. Like, if you're just around good people that are competitive and want to do things at a high level and that are going to be honest and straightforward with you, you really can't go wrong. And that was consistent my 4 years. So, that was kind of my first impression, was just like, I like to say, when I left campus, I knew right away. I was like, I'm going, that's where I'm going. I just knew. I had been to other places. And the funny thing is, I visited St. Joe's with no intention of going there. I was like, I'm just going to go party with, my boys from Albany and the team. And, I get X amount of official visits. So I'm going to go take one and enjoy it. And, 4 years later, I'm graduating. It's kind of crazy.
It's funny. You mentioned those guys, Scotty and LB, man. I felt the same way that you felt kind of going into my freshman year. I didn't meet you, obviously, and Scotty and those guys. I met Shawnee and Chris Davis the summer prior. I had no place to go, kind of, really. And there was no one on campus in that summer. So it was Shawnee, Chris Davis, and Santicola, and they met me kind of at, the beginning. They met me in the beginning of the sign at St. Joe's, and they were just like, listen, man, this is what we do here. Like, this is a good time. And, I didn't know. And like you said, it's just, it's a place that you really will never, ever forget because of the people that were there. And,
Absolutely.
Z, you're obviously one of those people who, I cherish because, you took me kind of right under your wing. You really did, man. And I think the way you handle me is the way that I started handling other recruits that are started coming in, bringing that family vibe. Maddie, you obviously have a different experience with Z. You came in the second time around. Tell us a little bit about when you first met him and kind of how that went for you.
Well, I mean, I kind of started off saying that the pickup, because obviously you don't know anybody. And I didn't come into that pickup either thinking like I was going to kill. I was just kind of interested to see what the rest of the team was like. Because
you just don't want to embarrass yourself, right? That's it.
Yeah, exactly. And I didn't have that experience, kind of how like Z just mentioned, like how he came to the official visit. I did come for a visit, but I only watch you guys practice. And like I said, Julio, I remember I don't have as vivid as a memory. The only thing I remember when I went to that practice that I visited, I did remember Z. I remembered you because you were getting chewed out by coach. And I remember Chris Davis because Chris Davis was ineligible and he was on the other side of the gym with Willer. And this dude was like, I mean, dunking everything. And I was like, oh my God, can I even play here? Like this dude was like, this dude was literally just ripping the rim off the basket. And I come from a high school where you don't see that
as
shit.
A guard.
So, yeah. Yeah, it was crazy.
Yo, Chris was nice, man. Chris was really nice too.
But I guess like I saw Z in that time and pickup, and I was like, wow, this dude is nice. And I think the hardest thing, like guarding him when I first guarded him, he always got to his spot on the floor and always scored. It kind of was like Paul Pierce-esque, like because it was methodical. It wasn't like dude exploding by you and stuff. He just he knew where to get on the court. And I really respected that, and I really tried to do that on my own. But yeah, I think
you guys are kind of similar though. You two are kind of similar because you guys both had you came in with super duper chips. You know what I mean? And Z, I want to let you say what you're gonna say, but I'm not trying to gas you guys up because you guys are on my pod. You guys should be really talking more about me. But you two, you guys had this demeanor about you that I respected since day one. Like Z, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. You weren't really the most pleasurable guy to play with sometimes, because you just wanted to win all the time. So it was just on the court in between the lines, you were just a motherfucker, man. And Maddie, I can say the same for you. You guys didn't give a fuck about what anybody cared about or what anybody had to say to you because, you guys wanted to win and you guys were just competitors. And you guys are probably the top two competitors that I've played with and two of the probably best scorers I've ever played with. So kudos to you guys, man.
But that was the mentality, like Z said, that you came in with, because Santa Cola said the same thing to me. I'm not guaranteeing you anything. And I think when you say that to people, if a kid likes that, because I like the challenge of that, so that made me want to go in. And obviously he said that to Z and you, and it kind of creates that atmosphere where it's competitive. And I hated playing Zach in pickup. He was the worst because I probably didn't win that many games against him because, it was like the upperclassmen versus the underclassmen. Oh, and by the way, I wanted to show this in when you're saying Ray Eatman. The vivid memory of Ray Eatman, and rest in peace, Clark. Remember when he banged on Clark?
Oh my God! Oh my God!
Was ridiculous. That was absurd.
Yo, Clark Noonan, he had no regard for human life though. He was gonna go block the shot.
Didn't care. He didn't care.
Yeah. Flat-footed. I'm gonna go pin this shit. Z, man, we're gonna bounce around, man, because like I said, we're kind of catching up all over the place. Let's put this on the table because I really want to know before we get into what happened after St. Joe's. You guys played 4 out before I got there. 4 out, 1 in. Ray was just great at pick and popping, so he can play you obviously the stretch 5, and you had a little bit more chance to get jiggy. But then when I got there, and then we had Maddie come in and those guys, I think that was a time where we changed it. So I think my sophomore year we changed our offensive philosophy. And you know what, Coach Stan Coach he's gonna hear this, so I really don't give a shit.
We're gonna let him hear it.
We're gonna let him hear it.
This is gonna be your minute snippet on Twitter. This is. Coach, we're coming at you. So turn your headphones up.
Z, can be honest, man. Did you like the Princeton offense? Did you really like it?
No. Short answer, no. I didn't at the time. And I think knowing what I know now, I still don't. But I will say, especially the position that I was playing at in that offense it kind of ran through me. right? Like it would get swung through me at the top, I would hit the elbow, and we play. I think what I regret about that time is, sure, I didn't like the offense, but I was also incredibly stubborn about the way I was playing. So what I didn't realize, and of course now it's everything, was like that offense was just creating catch and shoot after catch and shoot opportunity for me at the top of the key. And I wouldn't take them. I would fight it. Santa Cola would ask me, just shoot the three, just shoot it. You shoot it at, whatever clip, just shoot the three. But I wanted to play in pick and roll, and I wanted to go off the dribble. And so I was stubborn in that sense. And I do regret that. And I think, knowing what I know now, and this is how it always goes, right? You look back and you're like, well, shit. I was kind of difficult in that situation. And I was very just one directional in the way that I wanted to play. And so I didn't like it, but I think I could have also done a lot of things to improve how I played in that offense. But, it is tough. Before you guys got there, we were essentially playing the way that they play now, but without the rules. It was coach would get on us in practice and we would drill it, and then get in the game and it's just go ahead, right? That was kind of how we played offense. And as long as you were playing defense and not doing dumb shit, go ahead and do your thing. So, it was tough to change gears like that. And I didn't like it, but, I don't know how you guys feel looking back, but like, I also was very stubborn in that, and I could have been way better.
I think I would agree with that, because my senior year I played kind of your role, and junior year, but it took, like, my junior year, I feel like it was tough transition, going to kind of what we call the point, which is what you were playing, and I think by my senior year I kind of just got used to, like you said, I tried to use the offense to my advantage and get shot. I mean, I couldn't tell you how many threes I hit off that, the drift screen, right? Well, I'd literally just go away, and I would dribble the guy back door to get that drift screen. I mean, It's at the top of the key. So, I mean, I didn't enjoy it. Like, I didn't love playing in it, because, like, kind of like you said, it just sometimes it takes you out of your flow. Like, it wasn't natural. Like, it was like kind of like robotic sometimes. But I try to use it to the best of my advantage of trying to get myself in a position to score. But yeah, we always tell the story of it was your senior year. We were at Bowdoin. Right?
When I was sick, I got sick.
Yeah, but it was Z's senior year, right?
Yeah. Petsy had like 31 that night.
Yeah. So Julio was out, and I had to play his position, because usually on your senior year, I was kind of off the ball more, but I had to play Julio's position. And I remember at one point in the game, Santa Claus was like, "You're playing a great game." I literally played like 33 minutes, and I probably took 3 shots, because I had to do Julio's thing, like pass you the ball and go to the corner. And I literally was just doing that the whole game. And I felt like I wasn't doing anything. And Julio remembers me saying that to coach. Like, he's like, "You're playing great." And I was like, "I'm not even doing anything."
Hey, and any point guard that's ever played at St. Joe's knows that feeling. Because that's your job. And you guys were very nice at the beginning of the podcast complimenting me. But like, Maddie, we loved Julio because he got us the ball, right? Yeah. And that's what point guards at St. Joe's did. Scotty Vachon before him, one of my best friends, he got us the ball. That's what he did. I think he took like 3 threes his senior year, and they were all just late shot clock heaves. Like he didn't shoot.
Get him up there, Scott. Get him up there, Scotty.
Exactly. and Julio, we love Maddie because, I mean, shit, all I did was just try to get in the paint, and I would get in the paint, jump as high as I could, and just look around. Where's Matt? So,
well, I think at the point guard position too, for that offense, and I think why you can talk about why it frustrated you, but I think it's because it takes their creativity from you, because you're not setting guys up. You're not driving, you're passing and you're on the corner, and then you're part of the offense, but you're not really, the ball's not in your hands. You're playing off the ball a lot, which is tough. And it's like a sacrifice you had to make. Obviously, because you played with Z, you played with Petsy, you played with Tyler Kelly, you played with me, you played with shooters. So I get why the offense was successful, but and it's also pride. I think it was my junior year. I was being stubborn, like Z was saying at practice one time, being like, "Coach, why do we have, kind of questioning it?" And then he's like, "Well, Matty, you're not going to be able to go buy guys on Johnson Wales." And I was like, what are you talking about? Like that's what I'm saying. That's you know me. I'm stubborn. I was like, yeah, okay. I can't go buy anybody. What am I?
Who the fuck you talking to?
That's the same practice. He said, you guys should go home. Stop watching Kobe Bryant. You guys should be watching Kyle Korver. I was like, what is this dude? Is this dude on drugs? I was like, I am never watching Kyle Korver.
Coach, we don't even know what team Kyle Korver plays. No, it's true. And just last thing to the stubbornness point, and to bring it full circle with like the competitiveness, like I've never played in a game that I thought I should have lost.
No,
right.
We got, Davidson beat us by 70 points, and I left that game like, damn, we should have won. It's just like, it's a stubbornness and it's an arrogance. I don't know. I never expect to lose. So.
Well, that's the great mentality.
But
Davidson, hey, that's another game. I had to play point Julio. That's when I was backing you up, and I think I took 2 shots that game. Sean Cole after the game. Why'd you only take 2 shots? I'm like, I stand in the corner half the time. I don't know.
I was taking all of them. That's why.
It's all right. You were hooping though. You were hooping.
And it doesn't help that everyone was 6'9", switching everything anyways.
And I think for the people listening that don't know Z, I think one of the coolest things, and I do remember this, is afterwards when we met Steph Curry. What was his boy's name?
Reggie Williams.
Reggie Williams. Reggie Williams straight up was like telling Z, like, damn, dude, you're nice. Like, and I thought that was pretty cool. Like, I was sitting with Z when he was talking to him, but just, Z was playing against D1 guys, and it was like he belonged. So
I think he scored the first 4 for us too. And I'm like, okay, we're about to pull an upset here.
And then we only scored like 10 as a team. Good start though. Good start.
Yeah, good start. Yeah, I mean, you guys know where I kind of stand with the whole thing. I just thought personally, again, me and Santa Cola had this conversation. I think, he saw a lot of the times where I was frustrated about the offense. Just because personally, I felt like we had enough personnel where we can play pick and roll, play some DHOs, set some down screen and just like flow. And I felt like, we were kind of, I don't know, we were kind of holding some guys back as far as, talent. And I'm just being, again, that's me being stubborn. That's me kind of being self-centered. But again, I felt like, going to the corner and shooting 40% from the 3 just wasn't my game at the time. I don't know. I felt like I could have provided a lot more than just going to the corner and shooting jump shots. And not to say that, I couldn't make it. I could have. But, coming from the city, being a stubborn guy, again, this is a lesson for the young guys. I had to be a star in that role. I had to accept that. And we won 20 games. We won 21 plus games like my sophomore year. Like we went to the conference, finals. I think we were regular season champs. So, I started to look at that as more of a just a life lesson. Like it's bigger than me. It's bigger than, putting up numbers and winning all conference, accolades. It's about the team. And it took me a while, Maddie. It took me all the way to my senior year to kind of really bite the bullet and just be known as, all right, I'm a setup guy. I got to break down guys on offense, get to the paint, land on 2, find shooters. If I can get some pick and roll opportunities, get in the pick and roll, be the best defender. And like you guys are crediting me and saying that, you guys love me, but that's what I cherish. I cherish the fact that I play with guys like you and guys like Chris Petsy and Tyler Kelly, because it is a joy watching you guys hit open shots and give me the point. Like, hey, go pass, baby. Go pass, baby.
Yeah,
that's my favorite thing on a basketball court.
Yeah.
The point. So simple.
No, I think to your point, Julio, it is people have to learn that it's about the team and stuff, but I don't think you're wrong in your frustration with the offense, because I think we all felt like that and we all had different roles in the offense. So, it is what it is, but it is an adjustment when you come from a high school. Like we've talked about this on this pod before, is like, playing with Z and playing with Petsy, like, I, as a senior in high school, I was taking the most shots, right? And then you have to come and adjust. And sometimes I was too passive because I wanted, Z and Petsy to shoot. And like, they would have to tell me like, dude, you got to be more aggressive. So it's that finding that balance. And I think it's sometimes difficult, especially in that offense.
Yeah. I'm happy that they're playing out and playing 5 out, and just kind of playing basketball how it's supposed to be played in a sense. Let's bounce around, Z. After St. Joe's, man, you went to Oxford Brookes University in England for 2 years, so we were talking about England and the experience playing overseas just for that short time that we did it. How was it for you?
It was, so I like to say it was the best and worst time of my life. So Okay, so I was only there 1 year, and it's funny because it was a 1 year MBA program that I did while I was there while I was playing, but I didn't know that until like halfway through my first year. So I had mentioned to someone like, "Oh, I'm not really picking this up." I was like, "Next year, I got this. You know, I'm gonna change next year." And they were like, "This is a 1 year program, man. What are you talking about?" So like for 6 months, I thought I was going to be there for 2 years, but it was a 1 year program. And so I graduated from St. Joe's, and I was a phys ed undergrad. So I taught for a year. I taught at Bonnie Eagle High School with Phil Barassa, a good buddy of mine. Taught phys ed, coached some high school. It was a really good learning year for me. But I think what I realized, and again, this became a consistent thing for me, is like I realized very quickly that's what I didn't want to do. And so I needed to move on. This great experience, a lot of learning, but the high school coaching and the teaching, it's not for me, just on a day to day. So, I had the opportunity to go to England right after St. Joe's and didn't take it, decided to teach. And then when I realized that I didn't want to do the teaching thing, like I hit up Santa Cola and St. Joe's alum, John Wassenberg, right, who had the connection over there. And I was just like, hey, can you make it happen? And at the same time, Chris Petsy was doing that too. So, we had both, it's funny, we both graduated, did a year in the real world, and we were like, nah, this isn't it. And so we got there. And of course, for me, it was a big transition. It was still English speaking, but, I think when you're displaced from your home like that, and you don't have family or friends, and everything is foreign, even though the language is consistent, it can take a while to adjust, even just the little things. So that was tough at first, but the people I met, like, my business program, I think, even though we were in England, was predominantly a non-English speaking. So you had people from all over the world that came to this university to study. I was in business groups with 4 people who spoke, very little English. It could be from China, India, from everywhere. And so, you develop your skill set in a lot of ways. Just having a problem solve in different situations like that. So that was great. But going back to like the best and worst time for me, the team we played on was amazing. Like I said, people from all over the world, and going back to St. Joe's, like it's always all about the people, right? And that's what it was for England. For me, was I'm traveling, I'm meeting all these unbelievable people. They're teaching me so much just about different cultures, and so I was trying to soak as much of it in as I could, but at the same time, I had to really fix my mindset. Like I was going over there thinking, I'm gonna go hoop and I'm gonna go to school, but school is easy. Like I just did school, that's easy. And I'm gonna travel and I'm gonna have fun, and it was a big correction period because the MBA program was so busy and demanding that I really had to shift my mind to, like, if I didn't put in extra hours Friday night, Saturday night in my little box of a dorm room on my laptop, I wasn't going to pass. Like I was literally going to fail the program if I didn't do that. And so I had this major realization of like, holy shit, I got to change habits and I got to change what I do. So, school, something that had always come easily for me, was turning into this thing that was going to make or break me. And big picture wise, why I say it was the best thing for me, as tough as that was, when I came back to the States, and I'm sure we'll get into this. I don't start Next Level. I joined Scotty in Next Level, and he kind of hands me the reins, and it turns into, I'm teaching, kind of just to make some cash, and I'm running Next Level at the same time. So I'm putting in 100-hour weeks, that if I didn't have this experience of Oxford and having to go through what I went through there, I would have never survived running a business. Because I was running a business and I had no idea what I was doing. Like no clue. It was fly the plane and then we're going to build it. Right. So, England was, I still keep in touch with people from England. I still have friends there that I'll be friends with forever who are on opposite sides of the country. The head coach there had played on the English national team. Like just, meeting these unbelievable people all around was amazing. But then it was a true grind, like and you guys know, habit changing behavior sucks, right?
Yeah,
it is ugly and it is gritty, and I had no money. I wasn't going. It was like, it tested me, man. It really did. But looking back, for the better, for sure.
So
that's long-winded.
So, no, that was good. Z,
that was perfect.
Just a question, because I want to say I remember this, but I don't, because I kind of had the same thought that you did. So I graduated, did a year of teaching, and I was like, like, is this what I wanted? I wasn't in a great situation. Like, I was in an inner city school, and I was like, I wasn't loving it.
Where were you, Maddie? Tell them where you were at.
I was in Fall River. I was in the Riv.
Fall River, baby.
I was in the Riv. I was in the Riv.
Let's go, baby. Let's go.
So I asked Z about his experience, and more of like maybe the basketball experience. And Z was like, well, it's like middle school basketball level.
Oh my gosh.
So if you want to go off like what that was like.
Dude, and yeah. And this, like, all right, our team, it was me, it was Chris Petsy, and then we had a 7-footer, like a legit 7-footer who at one point had a tryout with Syracuse University. Like, so the dude could play. He was mobile. He could play. And then we had this kid Akeem who, man, I smile when I think about him. Just positive, so much positive energy. But he was this 6'7" long athlete who could like dunk from the free throw line. So we were stacked for really any team at any level. We were really, really good. We were beating teams in the divisions ahead of us. I think we were 44-4 that season. Like we were, and a couple of the games.
48 games, Z.
Yeah, well, so we were on 2 teams. We were on the school team, and we were on the pro team or the travel team. So, but I think 2 or 3 of the games we lost was because that we had to choose me or Petsy. Only one American or foreigner could play at a time.
Oh yeah.
So, we were really good, but then we would go on these 6-7 hour road trips to go win games by 90 points. Like, I was talking to D and Skylar about this the other day. Like, teams would dribble over half court, dribble it off their foot, and just give you the ball. Like, it was middle school basketball. It was so, going back to all this, I have all this work, right? All this coursework. And I'm like, well, what am I doing right now? I'm traveling 7 hours to play in this BS game. And again, I look back on it with fond memories, but at the time it was like, are you kidding me? We can't get better run than this. They can't come to us. It was funny, but no, the basketball was not great. But I will say though, in the playoff games and the higher level games, we did lose, and there were some really good pro teams that we played, but the majority was not great.
Z, man, you still answer questions smoother than a glass of milk after some warm chocolate chip cookies.
Okay. Just trying not to embarrass myself, man. It's pick up all over again.
So you come home, and then you said you're with Scotty in the next level. AU, I saw you all over the place. You were online. You had your own facility for a little bit.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that a little bit, man. I want to know.
So, again, like I'm gonna hit on some things that become really big picture things for me inevitably, but you don't realize them at the moment, right? Like a lot of learning happens, right? You realize it 5 years down the road. But so what I'm realizing during this time about myself is like, I don't know exactly what I want to do, right? I know like a lot of things sound good in theory, right? Like, hey, I want to be a head coach. Okay, cool. But I don't know what that entails. So I think what I'm realizing is like, I've been to St. Joe's. I want to be around good people. I'm not going to like no assholes. That's rule number 1, no assholes. And then, I come back from England, and I'm trying to figure out, okay, I got my business degree, I can teach, what's next? But I knew I didn't want to listen to anyone else. I was like, I'm just, I kind of want to do my own thing. So I'm taking interviews. I had a really good opportunity with a sports marketing firm in Portland that I turned down, and because of a meeting with Santa Cola, where I'm talking with him about all these different things, and he just looked at me and he said, and you guys know how he does this, right? He just puts it into perspective very quickly, and he's still a major part of every decision I make because of that. Like, he was just like, what do you want to do?
That's not how he said it, though, Z. He said, what do you want to do? Is that what you want to do?
Look, I can't hear you. No, that's so true. Well, hey, we'll talk about our first phone recording conversations with Coach Sanicola another time, because that was an experience in itself. Like trying to turn up the volume on my phone. No, it's true though. So he looked at me. He was like, "What do you want?" And I was like, "I just want to do basketball. That's all. That's all I want to do. I'm too stubborn to do anything else. I'm too, I want to do basketball, right?" And so it becomes, I want to be around good people, and I want to be in basketball. So that's what I know at this moment. So he's like, all right, well, you can do the AAU thing, you can do the youth thing, or we can put you in touch with Noah and you can go do the pro thing. You pick. And at that moment, I don't think I was confident enough to say, like, I'm going to go be a professional trainer, and so so I linked up with Scotty, and he and Vince Micucci had started this program, Next Level Athletics. They were doing training in AAU at the time, and they had started with, one player, essentially, like how it all starts, right? You get one player and it just builds. And I think at the time they had two teams, and Vince, for anyone who doesn't know him, is a very business savvy person. Like he gets paid very well to be a business consultant. He is one of the best at what he does. And when you meet him, you understand why immediately. Like he's great at what he does, but he didn't have the time to put in the business hours that the program really needed to grow. And Scott was like, I just want the basketball. Don't talk to me about the money. Like I want to do the basketball. I don't want to complicate it. So when I expressed interest, they were just like, here you go, take it. They didn't really have a foundation. It was kind of just, flying by the seat. And so, we went from 2 teams to 7 to 14 to 25. I don't even know. It was just like bang, bang, bang. And like I said, fly the plane and then build it. I had no clue what I was doing. Like, it was like, I'm trying to do this thing the right way. I'm trying not to be prototypical AAU guy who's lying to kids. Like, really, we built our program around the same principles that St. Joe's did, of we're going to be honest with you. We're not going to guarantee you anything. You're not coming here being told we're going to get you scholarships. It's, if you give us the time, we're going to get you better. That's it. And we'll, as you get older, and Julio, this goes back to seeing you at all these tournaments, right? We'll put you in positions to play in front of college coaches. And hey, what you do then is on you. That's not on us. I can vouch for you all I want. I can call every college coach in the world, but if they think you suck, sorry, there's nothing I can do. Like, just being blunt. And so, what you get, again, just like St. Joe's, is the kids who appreciate not being guaranteed anything, the kids who truly want to work, right? No assholes. It's just, I'm going to be honest with you. And if you're about it, then let's go. And if not, then I've during my time, I made dozens of phone calls to other programs for kids that didn't want to play with us because they couldn't handle that mindset, and they wanted to be told different things, and their friends were being told this. And it was like, just let me know where you want to play. Because if you don't want to be here, if there's even a seed of thought in your mind that you don't want to be here, when shit goes wrong during the season, that seed's only going to grow and you're going to want to leave. So like, you got to go. Like if you're not all in, you got to go. And, you know, I pull so much from St. Joe's, but that was the mindset then. And that was what we tried to build at St. Joe's, or excuse me, at Next Level. And, you know, it has its pros and cons, but I am proud of that. And Scott and I talk about it often.
Z, let me hop in and ask you, because you know Julio was doing the AUs. And actually, it was funny. I think all three of us at one point were all somewhat involved in AU. Now, I did it differently in the sense of like I was just kind of helping out Rick Gorman because he asked me to coach one of the teams. Yeah. And I think there was a point though, you know, because I've talked about my, you know, displeasure with AAU and the whole AAU thing.
You hate it.
Yeah, well, obviously. But it was, you know, through experience because I never played AAU as a player. So this was my kind of almost first experience seeing what AAU was like coaching it. And obviously I could go off on AAU and maybe Julio and I could do that before this episode starts.
We will.
But Z, when did you realize, like, you know, because I remember having the conversation with you when I could tell you were kind of like, all right, I need to get out of this. When did that point happen?
Day 3, maybe. I don't know. You know, and I had played, so I knew what it was, right? I knew what it was, the perception, and you know, this is another can of worms too, but like, it's like the player development thing now where there's no barrier to entry. Anyone can come off the street and be like, I'm a coach. I'm an AAU coach. I got a program. I'm a trainer. Yeah. But like, you know, we don't have certifications. There's no degrees. Like, so anyone can just do it. And I think that's great, but it also, it hurts the game in a lot of ways. Oh
my God.
You know, and again, that's a can of worms, but getting out of the AAU, I think, was a big thing for me for a while. But from a business standpoint, it's like, well, that's our best moneymaker. So then, you know, that's where, you know, we bring in the money to be able to give out scholarships, right? And do all these other things throughout the year where, you know, quality costs money, right? And we tried to really run a quality program. And so, you know, it was always those two things tugging. I hate AAU, we need the money. And I think, you know, my time in Next Level was cut short because I came out to Phoenix, but I think what I would have inevitably shifted towards was going to be, instead of having 20 teams, let's have 4. But we're going to practice 3 days a week. We're going to work out once a week. This is full commitment. So when we go to Mass, we're not fucking embarrassing ourselves. We're going to build a legitimate program, and we're going to only get the kids who are as dedicated as we are. And I will say this, my biggest and maybe my only gripe with youth is I liked it more than they did. You know, I love this shit more than you do.
Yes.
And that was a really tough thing for me for a while, was, you know, I wanted to work with players 5 days a week, and like, why aren't you living this like I am? And so that was my only gripe. But I honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I forgot what you even asked. I'm just kind of.
Well, you answered it. You answered in the first 3 seconds. You were tired of it in 3 days,
guys.
But to your point though about AAU coaches, you're right, because I did watch Scotty run red 7 times in a row.
Oh my God!
So
absolutely, he scored 27 points a game on red. Still the best play of all time.
Let me get in there too, because your boy Phil, right? Your boy Phil, he did the AAU thing, and we ended up playing him one day at AAU tournament, right? So he tries to run. Stacked. They were nice. Yeah. They had some nice guys, nice guards too.
All seniors at the time.
He tried to run red on me, and then when I called it, I'm like, hey, he's gonna go back door. Don't go for it. And we stole it. He kind of just gave me a wink on the other end, like, hey, just trying to see if you're on your toes there, baby. Like,
the amount of times, and for anyone who doesn't know, red is like, this is an old Rick Simons, like the guy who essentially built the St. Joe's program, legendary coach. this was his play, right? And it's this simple backdoor play that works every time. We won a GNAC championship my freshman year on red.
I remember
That simple play. And so, you know, Scott, a bunch of our coaches would run it in AAU over and over and over because teams couldn't pick it up.
I loved it. I love it.
So Z, did you when you stopped doing AAU, is that when you went out that summer with Noah, right?
So, okay, so I was doing them simultaneously. So I would, and this is where I really started to grow, right? Is like when we start coaching, when we start training, like when I first started coaching, what did I do? I ran everything we did at St. Joe's, right?
Yep.
We're playing pack line defense. We're, you know, all the same drills, all the same communication. You know, and same thing as a trainer. Like when I first started training, what am I doing? I'm going on YouTube and I'm going on Instagram and I'm trying to find different cone drills and all this stuff. And so I think I had been running Next Level for about maybe 18 months and Noah calls me and he's like, hey, you know, I'm doing this thing. I'm out in LA. And at the time he was working with the Wasserman Agency sports group. And, you know, he was their development guy. And so they would put him up in a small high school gym in Santa Monica, California. And essentially all of their guys, all the Wasserman guys, when they were in town, would just go work out with him. Like it was a really cool setup. And so he had hit me I think it was about April, and asked me, you know, if I wanted to come out and work with him. And he had a bunch of interns at the time. And like, you know, the big thing was he doesn't pay you and you pay your way, you pay for your living. It's, you know, it's the opportunity of a lifetime, but there are some sacrifices, right? And this was the model that he went through with Tim Grover in Chicago, who, for anyone who doesn't know, is Michael Jordan's guy all over The Last Dance.
If you don't know,
stop listening to the podcast. And so he hits me to come do this, and I'm all in Next Level at the time. Like my mind can't even wrap around leaving what I'm doing to go out to LA, as amazing as it is. And I'm young. I have a girlfriend at the time. We're living together. And so it's all these things of, you know, we had just signed a lease on an apartment, like all this stuff is coming together. And the first time he called me, I didn't go. But what I did do is I was like, well, I got to check it out. So August rolled around, and that first summer I went out for 2 weeks. And it was, I mean, within 5 minutes, I was like, okay, this is different. I'm not doing this. No one I've seen is doing this. This is really, really high level stuff. And so 2 weeks, you know, I would leave the workouts where I just guarded Russell Westbrook on 300 post up possessions and I can barely walk. And I'm going back and just writing down everything. You know, Noah's he's got these good, like little one-liners, you know, he's very concise with his communication. So I'm writing down everything. And, it was just an unbelievable 2 weeks. So the next summer rolled around and I went out for 4 months, the full summer. And what it became, you know, was obviously this great learning experience for my time working with him, which I would do for 4 years. I would run Next Level, go work with Noah. And so I would take everything I learned from him or the other coaches that were there or the players or whoever, and come back and for 8 months work on it with the youth, right? And make it my own and get my own reps in. And it was just this back and forth of learning that I didn't realize at the time, but I was developing my own voice, you know, and Noah is one of, I mean, I don't want to say a lot, very few, we all have them, right? There's a line of people that really influence us as professionals, as people along the way. Noah is absolutely one of them, right? And as much as I've learned from him on the court, I think what I appreciate most about him and what he's done for me is he set me on my path of learning, what I wanted to know from him was like, what are you reading? How are you learning? How are you consuming knowledge? What, you know, I know his methods are very deeply rooted in research. So like, what are you reading? You know, how did you come to these conclusions? And, you know, and he was very open with this information and kind of set me on my journey. And like, and that's what I appreciate the most about him was, you know, obviously all he taught me, but like, you know, it's teach a man to fish, right? Like he was trying to teach me how to fish and giving me the resources I needed while allowing me to figure it out. Yeah, I'm very grateful and I really appreciate my time with him as I'm sure you guys can tell.
Noah LaRoche, Integrity Hoops, for those who don't know by the last name. We can say it, we're pretty blunt on here. I mean, I just heard nothing but great things about him. We're obviously trying to get him on the pod too. So, you know, we're kind of plugging that now, Z. So, you know, let's try to get the word out for us. Let's try to get him in there.
Use me as a resource.
So you're after you do that, you end up with the Phoenix Mercury, right? You're doing some video stuff with Phoenix.
Correct. So, you know, I'm in Portland. It's May of 2018. And I get a call. I'm sitting on my couch. I'm in my apartment. I get a call from a random California number. And I answer. I'm like, hello? And on the other end, I just hear, hey, Zach, it's Diana Taurasi.
Oh.
And I like stood up real quick. Hey! And I could hear basketballs bouncing in the background. And she's like, hey, so, you know, I spoke with Noah. And she has worked with Noah quite a bit, right? So that was the relationship and the connection and how I was able to get involved with the Mercury. So she's like, hey, we got this video position open. You know, here's what it entails. If you're interested, I can tell the head coach, you know, blah, blah, blah. But a big part of it was she had back surgery that off season.
I remember.
She was coming back from her surgery. So what she really wanted and what the Mercury wanted was someone who could take kind of what Noah was doing and take that approach to her and to the Mercury to aid her on-court rehab and her comeback. And so, you know, that's where I came in. And I don't remember what I said in that conversation. I was probably a big time fanboy, you know, because it's the GOAT, right? She's, you know, and what I've learned since is everything you think she is, it's times a million in person. So I was probably a big time fanboy on that call, but I was like, absolutely, you know, let me know. I'll be there tomorrow. Let me know what you need. And so, you know, the head coach calls me, we go through the interview process. And I think within 3 days I was out in Phoenix. Right. And, you know, again, another going back to kind of my list of things that are driving me at this point, like the Mercury decision included, every major career move that I had made at that point was a decrease in money or salary. So money was never the driver, right? It was like full disclosure, the Mercury paid me $10,000 for the summer to do this role. They didn't pay for my housing, which is common. They usually would pay for housing, right? And I'm an intern, so it's cool, but like I am flat broke my first summer here.
Nothing in the savings? Nothing in the savings?
No, I'm running a business back home, man. And this is, you know, just going through, like, I leave a full-time teaching job to go pay for school in England, right? I come back, I turn down a sports marketing job to go run a little rinky-dink player development program, right? I go pay for free to go learn from Noah, and then I leave. Really, Next Level was doing very well. I was very comfortable, but I leave that to go take a pay cut to be here. So like, this is another one of the things that I'm realizing, like, all right, it's not about money. I can live being broke, and I can sacrifice kind of as long as I'm doing what I want and following my heart here. So yeah, that's how I got out here, and you know, I've been here ever since.
So you went there, and then you ended up with the Northern Arizona Suns, and you kind of did the same role. Was that the same?
Similar role, yeah. It's and a lot of these positions, like, you're doing everything, right? So like my first season with the Mercury, I was a video coordinator. So I was doing all the video stuff, but I was also doing all the player development. And about halfway through the season, they came to me and said, well, we really like you. Do you want to start scouting for us? Do you want to take some work off the plate of the assistants? So I was doing, 3 jobs, and that is not uncommon in these organizations. There are people that do, 3, 4, 5 different jobs. And, and for me, like, a great learning experience. So, while I'm doing all these different things, I develop a really good relationship with the G League head coach at the time, Brett Burchard. And he comes from a player development background and is very much rooted in like the power of decision making and problem solving and specific ways. I've heard you guys talk, different specific ways that people should be training players, right? And he had watched what I did with Diana, and we just developed a good rapport. And when it came time for the G League season to start hiring his staff, he asked me if I wanted to be on it. And again, similar role. I'm doing video and player development and scouting, and just another great learning experience to kind of see behind the scenes of what goes into, the G League operation. And now you're touching kind of the NBA stuff and going back to, like, for me, trying to figure out what I do and don't want to do. This is great, right? I'm kind of collecting evidence or collecting knowledge of, like, okay, maybe I could see myself in that role or that role. And so there was just tremendous value there with that G League season. And for me, from a career standpoint, that was my first contract, right? It was Phoenix came back and they said, we're going to put you on a year-long contract. We're going to give you a salary and benefits. And trust me, it was very little money, but at the time it was like, holy shit, I'm rich. I made it. It was like, I got everything I want. This is it for me. And yeah, I don't know.
So you told us before the pod started, you went back to Phoenix, and then now you're kind of just tell us where you're at now, because I want to know, man. I told you to hold it for this moment, so you gotta tell me what's happening now.
Yeah. So I was in Phoenix for the bubble, for the WNBA bubble this past season.
That was dope. That was dope.
Seen
you.
I mean, seeing the impact that those players had up close was just, we were living through history, and you could feel it. It was, man, I mean, it was just unbelievable. I'm getting chills thinking about it. Like, when the Washington team came in, after the Jacob Blake murder, and with the 7 bullet holes on the back of their T-shirts, like, it was just, unbelievable moments. And I'm proud to just I was proud to just be on the fringes and to just watch these women, like, kind of make history. So I did that, and then I came back, and I got asked to be the head coach of the G League team this season.
Shut the hell up.
Yeah, and I was excited, man. Like, it was, they had wanted that to be a player development driven role to get guys better, and and they wanted to hire in-house, and they had offered me the position, and of course I accepted, but then unfortunately we opted out of the G League bubble. Mm-hmm. So that didn't happen. So really, for the past 6 months, I've been doing nothing but working with Diana and Skylar every day. I'm in charge of their player development, and that's all I do. And, like, what I realized is that's all I want to do. I throughout, and with that, I decided to step away from the Mercury, and I'm going to go back into essentially a private contracting role as just a player development coach. So that's the new thing. That's weeks old at this point. I'm just kind of getting my feet wet with that process and getting everything I need to do on the business side. But I will say, like, I had a conversation with James Jones, the Suns GM, throughout this process, and one thing he said, and that really resonated, was like, what this COVID, moment is teaching a lot of people is what they want to do, right? People are not messing around anymore. They're getting a lot of time to think, and I think what COVID is teaching us right now is I'm just going to go do what I want to do because life is too short. Whatever cliche you want to use. But, when I come out of this thing, I'm doing only what I want, and I'm going to follow kind of my passion. And, I think for the first time, I can say with positivity that this is exactly what I want to do. Like, I want to devote my time and my energy to being the best player development coach I can. It is when I am the most engaged. It is when I'm the most creative, when I'm at my happiest. And, I'm certainly spoiled with the players that I work with right now. But, I feel good about the decision, and I'm excited for what's next. So we'll see.
I'm excited for you.
Appreciate it.
Congratulations, man. That's huge. Z, I want to keep talking, man. I really do. But podcasts, we can only hold the attention span for so long.
That's on me.
No, I love it. I love it all. And this is going to be great for the listeners and the viewers once it comes out next week. I do have one thing before we get into our either or, because we have an either or competition.
Oh, yes.
I just would like to know what's a common day for you with Skylar and Diana training? Like, is it 2 days? Is it 2 days, 2 times a day, or is it they kind of just want to work on middies this day or pick and roll this day? And what's a typical day for you?
Sure. So what I will say about them is, you guys know, when you work with players, it's really not about the talent level, right? It's like you want the players who show up every day and give you full engagement, full effort, and really want to understand their weaknesses, understand their own game, and improve on these things, and are willing to put in the time and the effort. Those are the best players to work with. Diana and Skylar are, of course, as talented as they are in the top 1% of, I'm coming in, I am fully engaged. There's no other thought in this world but the hour that we're about to put on court, right? So like that combined with now their skill level is so elite, and I don't use that word lightly. Like everything we do with them is like Lillard, Curry, it's all the same skill set, right? Those are their peers in my mind. So, their engagement plus the ability for me as a coach to be able to just explore things in such like fine detail, you know what I mean? Like such fine detail with them is so much fun. But like a normal day, and this is where I think my learning that I alluded to with Noah has kind of driven me is their workouts are all over the place. They're completely random. And my thing is like, I try to keep them on edge, on the fringes of their ability at all times. Skylar will say, Zach tries to come in here and make me feel like I can't dance. Like that's my job. And so, I guess instead of getting into the basketball, I think my approach is like, I really have to understand where they're at in terms of their abilities. And then I have to put them in certain games or situations that draw out the skills that I want to see. Like I said, it's random and it's ugly. And we might go from shooting from 35 feet to like a one-on-one finishing drill or a mid-range one-on-one drill, just whatever it might be. But it's one thing to the next, to the next, to the next. So they can never really settle into a comfort level. And, again, going back to my learning with Noah, like what you read is like the old adage of muscle memory and just rep it until you feel good is wrong. That's wrong. Like we have science and research now that tells us that All that feel good stuff is, to steal a term from Noah, is placebo, right? It's feel good. It's bullshit. You got to put players in positions to make a decision, to be thoughtful, and to really pull skills from their memory and their abilities, without telling them what those skills are going to be, right? And as they are pulling these skills from their memory and constantly problem solving and making decisions, although it's ugly in the moment, they're growing, right? So you sacrifice the short-term feel good for the big picture success. So a lot of our workouts are ugly, man. Like, they're ugly, and I let them lose and I let them fail. And this is where their mindset, just, they come in every day and they love it. They try to live in the weeds and in the mud. And, I think it's my job to get them there more than anything. Like, they're so elite and they're so skilled that, me just kind of setting up cones and telling them what to do, not only does it train a different part of the brain that we don't use when we're playing basketball, but it's mindless, and it's not really fun. So I try to keep them as active as possible and make them feel like they can't dance.
I like that quote too. I mean, I guess the overall message to those young guys listening, man, it doesn't matter, how much you think you got this game figured out, man. There's always levels to this shit, man. Diana's what, 38, 39? Like, yeah. I'm not, don't quote me on that. Don't tell her I said
no,
that.
She is. She,
okay.
I won't say the exact age, but you're in the ballpark. And
okay.
Hey, second team all WNBA last year, top 5 in scoring. I mean, my favorite part about working with them, honestly, is like, you get these little 2 to 5 minute conversations, like within the workout, where someone will say something, and you guys know how it goes, and it just like barbershop shit. It just spurs like 20 different thoughts, and that's my favorite part of the workouts, is just really either asking them something, or, man, they're just so smart and funny and thoughtful that, like, I sit on everything they say. Like, they teach me probably more than I teach them. So, man, it's just a blessing to be around them.
Man, I'm so happy for you, man. Make sure you shout them out. Make sure you tell them to listen to the podcast too.
I did.
All right.
I told them I was going to be on. I said it was my first podcast, and they said they were going to listen. They were asking if it was live. So you
okay.
got yeah.
Hey, we can. All right, Sky and Diana, man, we love you. Just I mean, we definitely do.
2-headed goat right there.
All right, Z. We got to wrap it up. This has been great. Like I said, we can talk more off the camera, but we got to finish it with our either or. It's our either or. We stole this from St. Joe's. I'm pretty sure you know that, right? So I give you.
Yes, you did. Julio.
I think so. You
made it hit.
You didn't give me Corey
St.
McCarthy.
Joe's either or doesn't happen without Julio.
No.
You know what I'm saying? I like to set the tone. I'm a trendsetter, baby. So you get 2. I'm gonna give you 10 titles here, and you just give me one or the other. All right. Some stuff you're gonna know, and some stuff I think it's gonna be like an inside joke if you know what I'm talking about.
All right,
Maddie, give me the time when you're ready.
All right, let's go.
Knicks or Nets?
Oh God.
Knicks are in 6 right now, bro.
Hey,
they're in 6.
Congrats to you on Julius Randle.
We here, baby. It's
listen,
about
man,
the Knicks.
I hope the Nets never want to hire me, but it's the Knicks.
It's the Knicks, baby.
Right
Let's go.
But I will tell you what, there's no better team to watch right now than Brooklyn. My goodness.
Oh my God. ISO galore, baby. ISO galore.
It's great.
French toast or pancakes?
Pancakes.
Water or Gatorade?
Water. I'm off the Gatorade.
You off the Gatorade? Floaters or middies?
Come on. That's an easy. That's an easy.
Come on. Middies.
It's the float.
Middies.
It's about the float.
Well, I had.
Flotation device, baby. Chips and dip or cheese and crackers?
I'm 30 now, so it's got to be cheese and crackers.
Cheese and crackers, baby.
All my sophisticated shit.
He's 30 and flirty.
30 and flirty. Natty Ice or Bud Light?
Bud Light.
Shorts or fitted sweats?
Sweats.
All right, this is for the lips. Blistex or Vaseline?
Burt's Bees. Don't disrespect.
Pizza and fries or stir fry? You remember the stir fry. You remember the stir fry.
First gut is like pizza and fries, but I'm thinking about stir fry now.
I know, I need to stir
fry. I might have that for lunch.
All right, last one. Drake or J. Cole?
Ooh.
Drake.
Yes.
Drizzy. It's Drizzy, baby.
Gotta
It's
be.
Drizzy, baby.
College days right there.
Oh, man. We used to sit in the room just listening to Drizzy for hours. Yo. Z. Oh, man. I love you, bro. Thanks for joining us, man. We really appreciate
man, I
you.
appreciate it, guys. I could have done this for 5 hours. So time flies, man.
You to go.
Yo,
I'll tell you what, this is not the first and definitely not the last basketball conversation we'll have.
No.
So
hopefully we can see you soon, man. Whenever you come back down towards the East Coast, let me know, man.
Hopefully, I'm hoping to get a little gap between May and June, hopefully. So
Okay.
Been too long, man. I got to see the fam. I got to see you guys.
That's love, man. That's love, Z. Hey, thanks again, Z. We appreciate you.
All right, fellas.
On the same street, hey, hey, I'm on the same street, hey, hey, I'm on the same street, hey, hey, hey. The tan house with the shingles, you know that's where I'm at. 2 hoops on the court in front, with the baseball field out back. My dad, he built that stuff with his bare hands, so I could dream of hitting homers to imaginary fans. That's what we did when we were kids, me and my bro. We used to hit pretend buzzer beaters on the low, yeah. The crowd used to yell inside of our heads.